Today I'm going to show you how you can set up your Wix website to share with your visitors downloadable files, aka images, videos, documents, and more. So stay tuned. What's up, you guys? Thanks for tuning in with your boy Nino. I got a tutorial for you guys today on how you can set up your Wix website to share with your visitors downloadable files that come straight from your own collection and database. It's pretty cool. It's a little challenging, but overall I think you're really gonna like it. And if you do like it, hey, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never miss another Wix tutorial like this one. So let's jump in and check this thing out. All right, so in this tutorial, what I did was here, I'm gonna just start from the basis. All right, so I have my input file, input of a file name here. I have my search button here. So you can easily get these things from here where you do the add, and then you come over here to like your text or your buttons and stuff like that. And that's what I'm actually pushing out right here. So I got this text here. I got this input element here, this button element, this repeater here with all these different little nicks and knacks here. So if we go inside here, I made it as the size of, containers here. So basically I'm playing around with this new hover feature that you can put onto your Wix Repeater, and it's pretty neat, I think. So if we just go over to hover, this is where I'm hiding my actual button layout. Okay, so this is going to be where my button is, and it's going to expand as well. As you can see here, my effect here I chose was grow, and then also the timing of it was 0.7, okay, with no delays. All right, so just a little insight on that. I'll go over that hover in another video, because this is a new hover feature that Wix has to offer, and I'm really excited about it. But right now I'm just going to talk about the downloads. Okay, so I actually put this box here also so that then we can go ahead and say that there is no file by a certain name. Okay, just in case someone were to not find the file, but this is like my download file page. Okay, and so I also created a database here because yes, that's the biggest key thing about this video is the database. So I created a database called files. You can come up here to content collections and just click this this plus button right here. Okay, but if you don't know how and where I'm going right now, just head on up to the developer mode right here and then just turn your dev mode on, and then you'll be able to see the same thing that I'm seeing on your website. All right. So you just go ahead and click, I'm gonna just go ahead and click on files, but you can just go ahead and click this add button and then just create your whole database or collection. And so what I did here, you guys, is I created a methodology for myself. Now you guys can copy this layout if you guys want, or you can create a different layout, but I just wanted to spin something up real quick just to show you guys how this download link works and also how it works from your database. Okay, so this is here your database here, guys, and all you have to do is come over here to where you see 4 hidden fields and just go ahead and click to add a new field. Okay, I have this text file here for field, the file type, text file here for text field, excuse me, here for the title. Then you have the documents where you can go and see the properties of this thing here. It's a field type document. Okay, and then same as image, same as your video here, is field type video, and then your audio is field type audio. Okay, and then we can come down here, you can see file name, the original name, all these are text. Is searchable. This is a big thing. So if you do not want this item to be searchable, I'll show you what I'm doing in my code moving forward, but this is very key. It's a Boolean, and it very well helps you out. Okay, and then you have the width, then you have the height, You have the duration, all this stuff that I think that is very important when you're uploading the file. Now, right now, I am not going through that process, so I will show that into another tutorial as soon as it comes up in my mind. But yeah, so then you have the URL here and also the shape. So all this stuff here below that is searchable is not going to be pertinent for this video, but I will definitely circle back to it soon. All right, and then also you have your ID for the system generated fields here. You got the created date, your updated date, and who's the owner. Okay, so that is pretty much it. All right, and so I just went ahead and just put in some documents, some audio, just to give a gist of like what you're gonna see on your download page. Okay, so I'm just using a repeater so that it could show up anything that I type into that file name input box, input text box. So just follow along and see what happens. Also, I really do like this, that you can go into your properties and you can create like help text here, because I was wanting this for a while and glad that we got it, glad that Wix is able to put this stuff in. This helps you out, especially if your other developers are on this project. They'll actually know exactly what this field type, this field key is doing, okay? So I just want to point that out. Kudos to you, Wix. All right, so let's go ahead and exit out of here. As you can see, I have information here, my image, my video, audio, and document. All right, so let's go ahead and press X. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get into the meat of the front end, okay? And then I'll show you guys how you can do the back end. All right, because we're gonna have to do a little bit of back end masking here. So I'll let you in on that in a few. But as of right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started with putting in some important things that we need. So we need to import Wix data, just so that we can bring all those modules in. All right. And then also I have my own module of my own, which I'm going to show you right now so that I can just type it in real quick. So if you go to your code files here, and then you come to backend, I created a dev backend. Everybody can create whatever they want and however they want, but basically you just go through your files here. You got dev media, and then this is a JavaScript file here. So definitely gonna click on that. But if you want to make it inside of a folder, which these are definitely directories here, or folders if you may, you can just come here, click new folder inside here, or new web module. Okay, and if you don't want to just do any of this stuff here that I have my setup as, you can just come over here and just click new web module. It doesn't really matter. You'll definitely get to the same place. Okay, so basically what we have here is the file that I'm going to be putting in the information here to be pulling from the Wix Media backend. This is the game changer right here, guys. Focus in on this, okay? So this is the Wix Media backend, and this is the game changer that actually helps us create and generate that downloadable link. Or if it doesn't help us out, I have a workaround for that, so stay tuned. All right, so this is how you're supposed to get the file, and we're just gonna start off from the front end, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and type out some more code here, just so that you guys can see what I'm doing. All right, so give me a second. Okay, so now that we got our two modules in here, now let's go ahead and create the things that's gonna happen here, okay? So right here, I have my input, right? If you click on your input, you'll see that I have a onBlur event handler, and then also on input handler, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and put that code in real quick, but I will go ahead and explain to you guys what that is doing, all right? Okay, so let me go ahead and scroll back up, and I'm gonna just go through this real quick. All right, so basically what I have here is I have my input one right here. So if I click this, it should take me to my input one, and then my blur right here. Okay, so the reason why I have this all set up here, guys, is because when you're going in here and you're typing, this will actually pick up everything, okay? And all we need to do is just create a little timeout alias here, just so that we can clear that timeout, and then we can create another timeout with 500 milliseconds adjusted to it, okay? So basically this is what this is doing, is that it's going in and it's taking all of the values that you have in this input here, and it's pushing it into this search file, okay? Now, if we click off of this and we click into this area right here, that's when our onBlur event handler will fire, okay? So that means it's just gonna clear that timeout and it's not going to search for that actual value, okay? So now, let's go ahead and talk about what search file is talking about here, okay? So if you will, search file is basically a Wix data query, okay? And so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna create a Wix data query that goes into our actual database here and pulls in that information based upon the values that we put into input one, okay? Into that input one element. All right, so basically what it's reading out here is, and let me go ahead and bring this up a little bit more. Okay, so what it's doing here is we're saying like Wix data.query files, that is our database here, files, and then we're gonna equal is searchable is true, okay? That way we have control over what the visitors can or cannot download. All right, so right now it's gonna be true. All right, and then the res, this is an alias right here for how we can create our query, okay? Our Wix data query. So I just bring in this alias that I have up here and I say Wix query, which is Wix data.query, this stuff right here, dot contains this file name. Okay, so this is a field name, and then this is gonna be the value that you're searching within that field name, okay? Now I have an OR parameter here because I wanna search in different areas to pull in the data, okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm going to original file name, the file type, and then also I'm going to the title. Now don't be alarmed from what this is doing. This is just like putting whatever that parameter is into a string so that it can be readable when being put in here. Now just be cognizant that you need to know exactly what your field type is, okay? So like how we saw that we had a boolean in there for is searchable, and that's why we only put the true or a false here. So I put a true here, but basically a string would not work, okay? So just be cognizant of that, all right? It needs to match up, whatever the value is in here needs to match up with the field type that is in the database. All right, so then I have an else here so that if it doesn't have anything in here, it could just find everything. Hoopla. I mean, like really, you could just find everything in here. So just go ahead and put this little thing in here. If you don't want to keep that in there and you just want whenever there is something that's coming from wherever it will be coming from, which is this input one right here, and you don't want it to, show everything, then yeah, just take this out. You can just comment it out just like this. All right, so when you head on over to my website, you'll see that information here just like this, and you can decide however you want, whatever you want with the code. It's yours. Just shout me out. No, I'm just joking, but not really. All right, so anyways, so you have a console log here of the res just to see like what is it sending back to us, okay? Now we're gonna do res.total count just to see how many files got back to us, okay? So what were those different types of data items that got returned, okay? And so if there is a return of more than 0, then we're going to go ahead and put that into our repeater right here, okay? And then also we're going to collapse this box here, which is right here, this box 40, and then we're going to expand that repeater here, okay? So now that we have that done, we need to make sure that we have the code for the repeater, all right? And so that is what I'm doing here. I'm creating an onItemReady function that will actually fire, which is an event handler, whenever something comes into this data portion right here of the element. All right, so I just want to go ahead and say that res.items is what you're going to be putting into this repeater data. Now I just want to keep you guys in mind that what I'm doing down here is I'm putting in ID and item 1 so that it doesn't share an error, and also it will not show here. Okay, so it will show here, but it will not show based on the item ready information. Okay, this is very key because you don't want to have just an empty array. Okay, what I'm saying is that you want to have an object within that array that says ID underscore ID. That way this repeater can pick that up and say, okay, I know that this is a true source, but it's not going to do anything, because I'll show you in my code how I am mitigating to have no errors in the repeater. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and pop that down. But as you can see here in this text right here, no file named, and then we'll put the parameter there. Okay, so that will be the parameter, whatever it may be. It could be, you know, a string, a Boolean, or whatever. It's going to turn it into a string based upon this right here, because this is a whole string right here in itself. All right, and then we'll expand that box. So now let's go ahead and get on over to the repeater code. All right, give me 1 second. All right, so now that we got the code in here, let's go ahead and go over it just for a second. All right, and then let me go ahead and take this out because we don't really need that. All right, so this is our repeater onItemReady function. All right, and the reason why I put in a sync here is so that then we can actually wait for this thing to spit out the data. And this is what we're going to be using in order to get the data from the backend, okay, from our Wix Media backend module. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm coming in here and I'm creating a try catch statement. All right, as you can see, all of this stuff is in the catch, in the try statement, and then the catch is an error. And also I'm finding what that error is, and also the error stack message. Okay, so error stack actually shows you all of the information from where that error happened and how it got there. Okay, so that just gives you just more information on like what happened and what went wrong. All right, but we don't have to do that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through step by step. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to check and see if this item data, as you guys know about repeaters from my last tutorial, I'll put that up in the right hand corner as I speak right now. In that tutorial, I went over about repeaters and also databases and collections. So if you want to know a little bit more about databases and collections, as well as repeaters, head on up to the right hand corner as I speak right now, and you'll see all of the tutorials that I have on repeaters or on databases or collections, just so you can, like, you know, get yourself caught up. All right, so in this one here, I'm checking to see if the data that is being imported into this function, into my repeater, I want to say, okay, is item data field type? That's the field type, excuse me, not the field type, but the file type that we labeled it as. So the image, document, video, all that stuff. All right, so that is our naming convention for the specific file. Okay, and then what I'm doing here is I am creating a alias for this item, whatever that item may be. So what I'm saying here is, guys, I created a what do you call it? A functionable string here. So I'm using these different types of I really don't know what you call those right now. But basically it's on your keyboard and is right below your escape and right next to your number 1, okay, on your keyboard. So basically I'm using that in order to capture all of this information here. And then also I'm using this little $ and the curly brackets to actually place in my actual item data.field type, file type. Okay, I keep calling it field type, I don't know why. But anyways, so this is the file type, and this is gonna be the data that we're gonna be placing in there as a string, okay? So it's like a string function, I don't even know what they really call it, but this is what I learned and this is what I like to do. All right, so this will actually give us these elements right here to pop up. So as you can see, this is audio 1, this is image 1, you have video 1 behind there as well, and then also document 1. All right, so as you can see here, I'm creating a ternary conditional statement here. So that's this big old thing right here, and also I do it right here, and I do it elsewhere in the text. But basically what I'm doing here is I'm seeing, okay, is this equal to document? If it is, I created a different naming convention for my field names. I should have just created it as document, but I called it doc because I just wanted to be short, just like image, video, and audio. They're both short. They're not all document like size and length. So I just, you know, I did that. Anyways, so as you can like rewind in this video, or we'll go back to the files database, you'll see it in there that I labeled it as doc instead of document. It would have made this whole entire tutorial a lot easier. But basically what I'm doing here is I have a workaround where I have a string, and then if it is a document, this is the true statement side of things right here before this colon. And what I'm doing is I'm grabbing that data type. Okay, so I'm going in here and I'm grabbing it based upon the file type name. All right, so the file type name is going to be document, as you know, and I'm just slicing that. So I'm using my string method to slice through this string, and I'm only getting 0s through 3, so that's going to give me the DOC, the doc. All right, and then everything else here, I'm just going to put that in here. I'm using the same type of character here, and also my $ and curly brackets in order to bring in that text as a string. Okay, so here is the biggest part right here. So this is actually getting the file. Okay, so what we're going to be doing here is we're going to get the file type, and then we're going to go ahead and pull in the actual URL for that image, document, or what have you. Any other ones, audio and video. It's going to be pulling in that that URL. What we're doing in this S-file alias here is what we're doing is seeing if it's a document again, but basically we're going to be splitting it at every single slash. Okay, this is every single /, and we're going to get the 4th element if it's a document URL, or we're going to get the 3rd element if it is anything else. All right, then we're going to come down here to the link. We're going to create that alias because the link is what we're going to be actually pulling from this getter here. So we're going to be saying link await media.getFile, and we're going to use that S file, and that is going to be your file's name. Okay, and so this S file is going to go right into the get file, which is your file name, and I'll just put that here. S file is file name. Okay, and so now you can see file info is going to have the file, the S file, and the link. We don't really actually need that right now, so I'm just going to comment that out. If there's an error though, this will pop up in your error. So it'll be saying error, and then I'll just say error.stack just so that we can be consistent. All right, but I don't really need that to show right now, so we're just going to keep that there. All right. So I created a switch statement. All right, so this switch statement is going to be item.file type. All right, and based on the file type, we're going to do basically put in the actual link for that file type. All right, and like I have shown you guys in the description below, just check it out. But you're gonna see that there is an article inside of the Velo forum, and this really helped me create this whole entire tutorial. So definitely go check it out if you need some more documentation on this stuff. But basically what I'm doing here is that if I don't get a media link here from this media.get file, and I'm not getting a link out of that, then this is the ternary condition. I'm going to go ahead here and bring in my own link, okay? And this is a link for just images, and then you have a specific link for videos and all so on and so forth, okay? And so also you have this default here. So I just created a default just in case, but this will just hide the button so that then if it can't find out what that type is, then it will not be able to download, okay? You won't be able to download that file. All right, and then it'll show you exactly what the file type says here as well with this console log. And then also we want to go ahead and show that type element. All right, so that will be all of this stuff like the audio one, the image one, all that stuff. That's what I'm creating up here, as you can see, with this alias of type element. All right, and so we're gonna show that. All right, and then the next up is the file name here. We're creating a file name, and we're gonna create a ternary condition again. Like I said, I use this a lot, so that if we can't find the file name, it'll say file name not found, okay? That way we can know how to address it. If there was like a, you know, if we said the field key wrong, like we created the field key wrong here, then we'll have to just like, you know, adjust it. But this is a good tall tale sign of like, hey, something's wrong, something's happening. Okay. And then also in here, I have details about the file type just to, you know, show some more details. You guys can put as much as detail as you want. But I just got the basics here. You know, you got the file type, you got the original name, and then you got the uploaded date. So basically I'm just creating a date right here and putting it to the locale date string here. Well, not really to the locale date, but just to the date string based upon your time zone. All right. So basically what this is doing is it's putting it into this info text box here. And if you recognize these ends from anywhere, make sure you know that this means new line, okay? So this is making a new line for each and every one of these things here, as you can see. And so I have that set up so that you'll see the way that it comes down instead of going all the way across, all right? And then at the end, like I talked about with the catch, it will share the errors that have happened for this whole repeater. But I think that is about it. So I haven't actually talked about the button here. So why do I even have the button if I'm gonna be typing in things? Well, if you click off of blur, like I said, it will clear and time out that whole thing, all right? But what you wanna do is if you click off blur, and within the 500 milliseconds, and you wanted to click search, you can go ahead and go ahead and do that. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead here, and we're gonna create a button on click function. Okay, just so that we can have everything full circle, and then I'll go into the back end to share with you guys how you create that that pull from the file name. All right. So give me a few seconds. Okay, so basically right here, what I'm doing here is I'm bringing in the input one value length, okay? And if it's greater than 0, we're gonna search that file based upon that value. If it's not anything greater than 0, then we're just gonna put in a blank in there. And remember what I was telling you guys about how the search file was going to do if it didn't find a param? Okay, so if it doesn't find a parameter, it's gonna go down to that next one, which was just finding all of them, all the results, okay? It's bringing in all the results. All right, and so that is everything for your button. Now let's go ahead and head on to the back end. And how you get to this code right here, this backend code, is you easily go through, like I showed you before, the code panel, and then you come over here to wherever your file is living in the backend. Okay, make sure it's in the backend and not on public, because you won't be able to use this Wix Media from Wix Media backend. Okay, that import module. Okay, so as you can see here, I have an async function here, so we're going to be doing a lot of awaits. That way we can just process this data as soon as it gets the data, instead of actually processing through the function and didn't even grab any data. Okay, so basically in this Wix Media backend, you're gonna go through the media manager, and then you're gonna get file info. You're gonna create, sorry, not create, but you're gonna do this function here. Now you're gonna put in that file name, that S file that we had on our front end code. We're gonna be putting that in this bad boy right here. And then we're going to do an async within this then function. And what we're going to do here is Wix Media Backend Media Manager get file URL. Okay, this will actually give us that downloadable link, but just keep in mind that this downloadable link will only be a token link, and it will only be able to how do you say this? So basically, it's going to be a downloadable link, and it's going to have a token on it. It's only going to be available for a few, maybe a few minutes or so within that time period, so that you can download that file. Okay, make sure that you guys know about that. Look up, research it on it. If you don't want this to happen, then I have the failsafe on the front end where they can just have that link available for them at any time. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead back to our front end. Let's come up here and save this stuff here real quick. Once that gets saved, then we're gonna go ahead and test this bad boy out. All right, so as you can see here, we have search download by file name, and I'm going to put in just, I'm just gonna put in nothing. I'm gonna just click search. All right. So as I click search, it's going through, it's pulling in that data. And as you can see here, it's pulling in the blues. This is an audio file, roles. As you can see, the download button is showing up here, and this is awesome. You have your video here, and then also your image here. So if you want to just download an image, you can just click this download, and it will bring it over into another section for that image. And you'll be able to right click it and download that image. Okay, let me go ahead and head back over. Ooh. All right, so basically here for audio, you can click here and download audio, click here, download document, click here, and you can download the video as well. So you can just go ahead and click video. It'll take you into another window or another tab, and what you're going to do here is you're going to just click these three buttons here, and then you're gonna just click download, and that's how you can get your video footage. Okay, here you have your document, so it could be whatever type of document you want. You can just click here, and it will start the download of that biz roll that I showed you. Okay, and then also the blues. All right, if you want to go ahead and download this file, you can just go ahead and click that download button, and boom, we have the blues infusion Quancas Morelia. All right, so I guess this is it. Guys. I think that I went over everything that you need to know about how to download and use that download link to your advantage. Okay, just to show you that this works, we're gonna just type in roles, or just roll, and it will bring up just that actual document. All right, so as you can see here, guys, it's working very well, and you get to download all this content by using that structure. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Definitely give it a shot, and if you have any questions, drop it below. Thank you so much for watching, you guys, and if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. All right, ciao. Oh, and before you go, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more great tutorials every weekend. Also, check out my website to find other tips and tricks about Wix. This helps us do what we do, and this channel is supported by the viewers just like you. You can also click the thumbnail and watch another video from this channel. See you in the next video, guys. All right, ciao.